Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching and learning in Indiana and around the world. More at education.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber, the Giga City Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Indiana University Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of over 650,000 alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, travel, and advocacy. alumni.iu.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. A mine wants to reopen in southern Indiana, but a dispute over where it should go has come to a standstill.
There's nobody that I have ever found that wants a coal mine within 300 feet of their front door.
Ahead, will residents and the mining company be able to reach a compromise, or is the state poised to get involved in the fight? Affordable housing is one of the underlying issues contributing to Indiana's teacher shortage.
Our teachers have expressed that they've, number one, had to stay with parents, had to stay with roommates.
Ahead, a look at a pilot project that encourages and helps teachers put down roots in their community. And it's halftime in the legislative session. Coming up, our statehouse reporter joins us for the latest on what bills are dead and what still has the momentum to keep moving forward. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, it's unclear when the legal battle between a small southwestern Indiana town and an international aluminum producer could move forward. Alcoa wants to reopen its smelter in Warwick County and bring an estimated 275 jobs back to the area. But to do that, the company says it must expand its mining operations near Boonville. Residents say they're okay with the idea, but only if the company agrees to honor their requests. Reporter Brock Turner is here with more, and Brock, this dispute is really now caught up in court.
That's right, Joe. Boonville City Council recently approved an ordinance that bans explosives for mining within 3 miles of the city limits. Alcoa responded by filing a lawsuit. What happens in the case could set a precedent for other Indiana communities. Ron Nelson considers this neighborhood an escape.
We move here for Mother Nature, peace and quiet. It's not unusual to see eagles flying or landing by the lake or landing in a field.
When he and his wife moved to Lakeshore Drive 3 years ago, he knew there were mines nearby, but he never imagined he could one day find one just a few hundred feet from his front door.
So basically they're going to clear out all this area, mine it. We're going to have no view of anything but big trucks and a bunch of dirt.
Alcoa wants to expand its current operations at Liberty Mine by 3,600 acres. Nelson and other members of his neighborhood have concerns about how that could impact their health and property values.
I currently live right here, so I'm one of the 2 lucky ones that will have the mine on 2 of the 4 sides of me. This gentleman down here will be as well.
Neighbors formed a group called Save Our Homes, LLC. That's in response to the expansion proposal, and they have come up with a list of demands.
We are asking for 1,000 feet from the property line in each direction as a buffer and to leave the trees there.
They also want Alcoa to increase the buffer zone in select areas to 800 feet, install 3 additional seismic monitors, and modify their insurance claims process. According to an email obtained by Nelson, Alcoa agreed to those stipulations, but only if Boonville repealed its mining ordinance and approved permits and authorizations to operate the mine. Boonville Mayor Charlie Wyatt sees the issue from both sides. He spent 41 years working for Alcoa in Warwick County, and he knows the impact mining can have on the local economy. But he says the safety of citizens shouldn't be compromised.
I prayed every day that smelter was shut down, that something would happen for these people and for Warwick County, because it's a big impact. We are not against that.
Wyatt says Alcoa can expand its operations, but he too wants them to sign the original agreement.
I'm just ashamed of where we're at right now. It makes me think it's a failure where you can't come together and work this solution out rather than run into the courts.
Alcoa's Director of Internal and External Communications, Jim Beck, says the company continues to work with homeowners and hopes to reach a solution that is fair for all involved.
It's just simply that we believe the ordinance violates Indiana law and inappropriately attempts to supersede the authority that belongs with the state.
But back on Lakeshore Drive, Nelson and his neighbors can only wait. They're worried about how the case will pan out, and they say it's indicative of a larger problem.
At one point, people should come before the money in corporate America.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner. There's a proposal at the Statehouse that could have a big impact on this dispute. Republican Representative Jeff Ellington authored a bill that prohibits local governments from regulating the extraction of natural resources, and an amendment to the bill could mean that it applies to mining. Legislators referred the bill to the Senate Natural Resources Committee. As for the legal dispute between the city and Alcoa, the next court appearance is set for March 14th.
Something we'll definitely keep an eye on. Thank you very much, Brock. And the Indiana legislature has reached the halfway point in this year's session. It's been busy at the State House so far. Brandon Smith joins us to talk about what's happened so far and where he expects things to go. Hello, Brandon. Let's start with workforce development. It's an issue that's been a priority for lawmakers for years. A bill passed this week would require schools to work with career and technical education programs.
I don't think that we should hand over all of our training to the private sector and pay them to do it. There's a role they have to play in this, but we can help and enhance that and need to do that in order to make sure we can fill our needs. So it's a partnership.
So, Brandon, what else does this bill include?
Well, there are two bills, one in each chamber. They include the creation of a state secretary of workforce training and a new state board of technical education. And one provision that's attracting a lot of attention is House Republicans' bill that would dedicate every single penny collected by the state in corporate income taxes and put it all towards workforce training.
The Senate this week approved a bill that would allow Hoosiers to carry guns at churches that meet on school property.
But we're going to allow people to carry a firearm in a house of worship. We don't know who those people are. We don't know how long they've had their firearm. We don't know what training they've had. This is a solution in search of a problem.
So, Brandon, what prompted this bill?
Well, the measure's author, Indianapolis area Republican Jack Sandlin, did bring in a church leader from his district who said that members of his church want to be able to protect themselves. He also noted recent attacks on churches, notably the incident last year in Texas. Redistricting
has been a controversial topic, but it looks like Senate Republicans want to take a closer look at the issue. What have lawmakers done in the past to look at redistricting, and how is this year any different?
Well, a previous study commission recommended the legislature create an independent commission to draw Indiana's district lines. Republican majorities ignored that recommendation. And now the Senate GOP wants a new study to look at recent court cases on redistricting to see if the rulings could affect Indiana.
So we're halfway through the session, which means a lot of measures didn't make the deadline to advance. What are some of the measures that didn't make the cut?
Well, some measures we already knew about going into the deadline days. A hate crimes bill didn't even get a vote in the Senate. Cold beer sales expansion was voted down in a Senate committee. But on deadline day on the House floor, a student press freedoms bill didn't get enough votes to pass, and they didn't call down what was a House GOP priority, which was township reform.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Now for headlines, we go over to Barbara Brozier, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thanks, Joe. Tau Kappa Epsilon is suspending its Indiana University chapter immediately because of violations of the fraternity's bylaws. TKE's Grand Council unanimously voted to close the chapter until fall 2021. Indiana University says in a statement it launched its own investigation after learning of the alleged activity at the fraternity house. Now, several other fraternities at IU have faced disciplinary action because of their conduct over the past 2 years. A firing range in Spencer remains closed after nearby residents claim their homes were hit with stray bullets. As Tyler Lake reports, the issue went before the local zoning board several times. It's taking action to ensure safety from here on out.
Jerry and Kathy Wise bought their house a few years ago. It overlooks rolling farmland, but just on the other side of a cluster of trees sits Precision Gun Range. Kathy says the sound of gunfire has never bothered them. That's until one afternoon nearly 2 years ago. She was outside talking to a neighbor when suddenly something whizzed by.
We heard this wheel thump, and we looked at each other and said, "Is that a bullet?"
The gun range opened in 2016. It offered a 150-yard rifle range and a shorter pistol range. It's the rifle range at the center of the controversy. More residents began complaining about the stray bullets hitting their property. Kathy says the police were called twice in just a week. Jerry said he even offered the range suggestions to make the operation safer.
They stated in one of the sheriff's department's reports that they realized they had a problem and that they was going to put hay bales up. And that went on and on and on with several more promises, and it never ever happened.
The gun range says it's not responsible for the bullets. Still, the Indiana State Police issued a report calling the range a public safety hazard. But an attorney representing the range says the state police weren't really qualified to make that judgment.
And here they did not prove that the projectiles come from Precision, and they didn't rule out other known shooting sources in the area.
The zoning board decided to close the rifle range a couple of months ago, and members say the board is working with the gun range to ensure safety.
They've been working very hard and diligently with the board and trying to do all the recommended safety requirements that their own personal engineer has made recommendations for them to do.
The gun range owners could finish making those safety adjustments as early as the end of this month. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Tyler Lake.
Once the facility completes the safety upgrades, Owen County building inspectors will make a final assessment. After 25 years, an oversight committee of the Columbus Police Department could change its appeals process. Proposed changes to the Audit and Review Committee for Citizens and Police Relations would increase the number of voting members from 5 to 7. And there would no longer be guaranteed spots for a member of the NAACP or the African American Pastors Alliance. The committee will have a meeting on February 19th before sending the final proposal to the Board of Public Works and Safety. An Indiana University researcher says the lawmaker behind a cursive writing bill misused her work to support the cause. Senator Jean Lysing has again filed a bill to require cursive writing curriculum in schools. She wrote an op-ed to discuss why such a bill is needed. Part of the piece mentioned IU professor and researcher Karen James, but James says that's not her focus.
So I was surprised to see my research supporting a cursive mandate because I don't study cursive writing, for one thing.
Lysing says she sent an apology to James and won't use her research in the future. Funeral services will take place Monday for Indianapolis Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson, who was killed with his Uber driver when authorities say a drunken driver living illegally in the U.S. struck them along a highway. Jackson's funeral will be held in his hometown of Atlanta. Jackson and Jeffrey Monroe were killed Sunday when they were struck by 37-year-old Manuel Orrego Zavala. Authorities say Orrego Zavala was drunk when he hit the victims. He was charged Wednesday with 4 felony counts. Mike Pence's brother is officially running for Congress. Greg Pence filed this week to run for the 6th district seat. Columbus Mayor Jim Linnep says it would be good for the region to have 2 brothers from the area representing them in the Capitol.
We could have, a couple of brothers from Columbus serving in Washington at the same time. I would hope that we could get some pretty good representation, out of that. But, I had an opportunity to talk to Greg a couple of weeks ago at this point. And, I just wish him the best.
3 other Republicans and 4 Democrats have officially filed for the race. Current 6th District Representative Luke Messer is running for U.S. Senate. And boy, Joe, it's going to be a busy primary season.
What a hotbed in Columbus, huh?
Yes.
Thanks, Barbara. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. A new housing project in Indianapolis is meant to tackle a teacher shortage. Coming up, we'll look at a unique solution for getting more teachers where they're needed. And plans for a new hospital in Bloomington could put a beloved cross-country course out of commission. We'll hear from some concerned runners on what the changes mean for them. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
$10,000.
15? 15, you think?
20, 21,000?
600.
20. 18.5.
24.
It's at least 40.
Look at it.
4,500,000.
650.
20.
650.
This textile would be worth about $500,000.
$500,000?
No way.
I knew it. It's just a blanket.
Laying on the back of a chair. Well, sir, you have a national treasure.
Wow.
A national treasure. Congratulations.
I can't believe this.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Well, members who failed to renew coverage under Indiana's Medicaid program known as the Healthy Indiana Plan will face a 6-month suspension period. That's a change from 2016. As Taylor Haggerty reports, some officials say it's unclear how the lockouts will impact more than 400,000 Hoosiers enrolled in HIP.
The changes are part of last week's federal authorization. They allow Indiana to continue operating its program for another 3 years. But they also require HIP enrollees to complete annual eligibility paperwork to keep their coverage. Mark Fairchild is the Director of Public Policy for covering kids and families in Indiana. He says for most enrollees, the lockouts shouldn't be a concern.
There's actually an automatic process that happens to check if they're eligible for renewal without getting all of the information back from the consumer. So the most consumers are going to be automatically re-enrolled or have to just return some minimal information if they're still eligible for the program or not.
But members who don't fill out necessary paperwork for renewal could lose coverage for at least 6 months. That's what happened to more than 12,000 Hoosiers from August to October last year, according to a state report. In 2016, Indiana lawmakers outlined lockout policies for HIP 2.0, but they were never implemented. The policies faced criticism from the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. But that stance has changed under Seema Verma and the Trump administration. Fairchild says it's not clear what impact the new lockout policy will have, but he's optimistic most enrollees will keep their coverage. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Taylor Haggerty.
The state says HIP members will have months to complete the renewal paperwork and will receive plenty of notice before the deadline. Well, we know more about how Morgan, Marion, and Johnson counties will be impacted by the final stretch of Interstate 69. The state released its final environmental impact statement on Section 6 this week. Reporter Barbara Brozier is back to break it down for us. Barbara, the question that I think everyone has is all those homes and businesses along what's now Indiana 37. What happens?
Exactly. If you've driven between Martinsville and Indianapolis, you know there are a lot right on the side of 37. We know right now 84 businesses, and that does include a couple of fire stations and a nonprofit. They are going to have to move. And then on top of that, nearly 200 residences, everything from apartments to mobile homes to single family homes, will also have to relocate. We do know that the city of Martinsville, at least, has already been working with some businesses to try and get them to new places in town. They don't want them to close as a result of this, and we haven't heard of any that are planning on doing so.
Has anything come out in terms of a construction timeline, in terms of when it starts?
So first they have to finish Section 5, which we are told is on track to hit the August 2018 deadline, although that is nearly 2 years behind schedule. It will have a couple years of a gap then. Construction could start as early as 2020, but before then, lots of behind-the-scenes work of them finalizing the design, some design work, and also then acquiring all of those properties. They now can begin the process of making offers on homes and businesses.
And then how about cost? Always the big question, right?
So this is going to cost just under $1.6 billion, a lot of money, and that includes all of the costs associated with this project. The big question was, how are we going to fund this final stretch of I-69? Because it's varied. We saw some issues here in Bloomington with Section 5 started out as a private developer doing this. The state had to come in and take over last year. We know that right now the state is planning on funding this. Part of it will come from Governor Holcomb's next level plan, about 1/3 of the funding. Then the rest of it is included in INDOT's 20-year mobility plan.
We have 5 seconds. How much is that going to help with the travel time?
About 11 minutes from
11
Martinsville
minutes,
to Indy,
11
minutes faster.
Wow. All right, thank you, Barbara. Well, for many teachers, finding an affordable place to live near their schools can be difficult, and buying a house rather than renting, well, that comes with even bigger challenges. In Indianapolis, school leaders are beginning to understand the implications that has on teacher retention and ultimately student learning. Jeannie Lindsay reports on first-of-its-kind housing project that's aimed at encouraging teachers to put down roots.
Indianapolis has a big turnover problem. Each year, some 400 teachers in Indianapolis public schools, around 20%, either switch schools or quit. Elsie Owolo is with a group called Teach Plus. She says keeping teachers around is a complicated issue, but housing often plays a key role. And in the heart of Indianapolis, it's a problem.
In order for them to be able to afford something, our teachers have expressed that they've, number one, had to stay with parents, had to stay with roommates, or, the ultimate result is living out in the suburbs and just having a longer commute.
And that causes problems that can lead to turnover. John Franklin Hay heads a group called Near East Area Renewal, or NEAR. It's responsible for the construction and renovation of 100 homes in the St. Clair Place neighborhood, and he's working on another unique project.
We are now working on developing what we're calling the Teachers Village. And the Teachers Village is a cluster of 21 homes within a 2-block area.
Here, on the corner of 10th and North Rural Street, a trio of boarded-up houses sit as cars drive past. Soon, it will be unrecognizable. This is where they broke ground for the city's first Teachers Village last fall.
But what we really want to do is to invite and encourage IPS and urban charter school teachers to consider living here and becoming rooted here and becoming a community leader here.
The idea is pretty straightforward. NEAR builds and renovates about 24 homes. They'll be offered at a subsidized price to those who meet income requirements. But the project is targeted to teachers. Part of the program is that buyers agree to stay for at least 5 years. Some of the homes will be major renovations, but others will be completely new builds. And housing isn't the only priority for the project. Plans for the Teachers Village include a street makeover.
So it includes a little, what we call a traffic calming chicane, which is just a little zigzag at 9th Street and at St. Clair Street, just to calm traffic. About 9,000 cars travel on Rural Street every day.
St. Clair Place has been making a comeback after years of decay. When NEAR started its work here, the neighborhood was almost half empty. Hay says the goal of this village is to do 2 things at once: bring life back into the area while helping city schools through affordable housing. Sabbath McKiernan Allen teaches 2nd grade at Thomas Gregg Elementary, just 2 blocks from the Teachers Village. Right now, she lives outside of the community where she teaches. She's interested in buying one of the Teachers Village homes, but is worried about bringing work home.
What worries me most is like a work-life balance. You get a group of teachers together and all you talk about is school. You don't really venture very far from that subject. And I think living in the community is going to make it 20 times harder.
Others question how safe the area really is. It has a reputation for high crime rates. But Hay says the residents he's talked to in St. Clair Place want change.
We asked neighbors, what do you want this to be when all is said and done? Folks said, one of the quotes was that we'd like for those who've lived here in the worst of times to be able to stay and enjoy it in the best of times.
The first set of homes in the village will be available this spring, and if enough of the education community buys in and teachers decide to stay, Hay says more villages like this one could spread to other parts of the city. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Jeannie Lindsay.
IU Health's new regional academic health center is set to open in 2020. But as Sophia Salaby reports, some residents are concerned the new hospital could displace a running course used by both students and the Bloomington community.
Kate Rosenbarger has been running on Indiana University's cross-country course since she was in high school.
it's a weird thing to say that it's like changed my life. Like I came to IU, I've loved this for over 20 years.
Now she fears IU Health's new hospital will affect her and other area runners' ability to use the course. IU Health broke ground on the hospital last month. It sits along State Road 4546 on the site of the former IU driving range. The 700,000 square foot facility was first announced in 2015. Rosenbarger says she and other runners have reached out to representatives from IU Health several times since 2016, but they've received little to no information on the future of the course.
Look, we've been getting the runaround on this for over a year, and like if we had been brought into this planning process earlier, maybe something different could have happened.
Some local runners created a Friends of the IU Cross Country Course Facebook page, which currently has more than 1,000 members. In a statement, Senior Associate Athletic Director Jeremy Gray said IU Athletics is still working out the details, but the university plans to keep parts of the old cross country course and incorporate land the university already owns. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Sophia Salaby.
And Indiana native John Mellencamp is one of 10 musicians being inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame this year. Mellencamp started his music career more than 35 years ago and has written more than 20 top 40 hit songs. And that's the end of this show. We have more online at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching and learning in Indiana and around the world. More at education.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Indiana University Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of over 650,000 alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, travel, and advocacy. Alumni.iu.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.